let's talk about something huge. Where do our ideas of right and wrong actually come from? Is morality a set of rules we have to obey, like a cosmic law book? Or is it more like an internal compass that we need to learn how to read? Today, we're digging into two completely different ways to answer that very question.
It's a question every single one of us has to grapple with, right? Is being a good person about following orders, or is it about discovering something inside ourselves? To get started, let's dive into one of the most powerful answers in human history, the idea that morality is handed down from on high.
So, this first framework is all about authority. The idea here is that morality isn't just a matter of opinion or what feels right, it comes from a single ultimate source. It's like the ultimate rulebook for all of humanity.
This has a name. It's called divine command theory. And the concept is both simple and incredibly powerful. Something is right simply because God says so, and something is wrong because God forbids it. That's it. It's not about the consequences or what we think makes sense. It's about obedience to a divine lawgiver.
And you can totally see the appeal, can't you? I mean, in a world that feels so chaotic and confusing a lot of the time, this way of thinking offers some serious clarity. The rules are clear. The source is clear. You know exactly where you stand. For a lot of people, that provides a profound sense of security.
So this is the crucial part to understand. The flow of information is one way. In this view, we don't reason our way to what's right. We don't figure it out by looking at who gets hurt or who benefits. It's not a discussion. Morality is issued, and our job is just to receive it and follow the instructions.
And there's always a button philosophy, isn't there? This very powerful idea runs into an equally powerful challenge. It's a philosophical puzzle that thinkers have been wrestling with for more than 2,000 years.
This right here is Plato's famous Euthyphro dilemma. It sounds almost like a word game, but it's actually a trap. It creates a real problem for divine command theory because whichever way you answer, you end up in a tricky spot.
And this slide breaks down those two tricky spots perfectly. So, on the one hand, if something is good only because God commands it, well then morality seems totally arbitrary, right? God could command cruelty and poof, it would become good. But if you take the other path, if God commands things because they are already good, then that means goodness is its own thing, a standard that exists outside of God. And if that's true, then God isn't the ultimate source of morality, but more of a really good guide to it.
Beyond that deep philosophical puzzle, there are also some potential psychological risks to think about. A system that's based only on obedience might not encourage us to develop our own moral reasoning. And when that system is enforced with fear, shame, or punishment, well, it can end up causing real harm instead of guiding us to a good life.
Okay, so that brings us to a major pivot. We're going to shift gears now and look at a completely different way of thinking about this whole thing. We're moving from an external authority to our own internal state of being.
This question is really the key to this whole second viewpoint. It just completely reframes the conversation. Instead of asking, what are the rules I have to follow, it starts asking things like, what kind of internal setting, what direction on my inner compass actually leads to a better life and causes less harm in the world?
The source material for this explainer gives this framework a name, Arreqqana ethics. And here, the whole goal shifts. It's not about pleasing some external power or avoiding metaphysical danger. The measure of a right, moral source is whether it leads to psychological health and alignment. A wrong one is just one that causes psychological harm, simple as.
So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, a healthy moral orientation is one that makes you feel more capable, more compassionate, even physically calmer. It builds you up. A harmful orientation does the exact opposite. It uses fear and shame, it demands you just obey without thinking, and it can even make you feel less responsible for your own choices. And this is where it gets really practical. Notice how these aren't commands. They're not thou shalt not. They're more like intentions or personal prayers. They're all about organizing your own mind and your own actions towards things like care, clarity, and self-respect. They're designed to make you stronger.
And from that idea, we get this really simple test. After you do something, meditate, pray, reflect, whatever, you can just pause and check in with yourself. Do I feel more here, now? Do I feel more able to be the person I want to be? Do I feel calmer? If the answer is yes, great, it's aligned. If not, it's misaligned. The proof is right there in how it makes you feel and function.
Okay, so we've looked at these two very different models for morality. Let's put them side by side now, just to make the contrast really pop.
This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got this top-down system. It's all about obedience, and the big question is, what am I told to do? But on the other side, you have a system based on internal responsibility and awareness. And the core question completely changes. It becomes, what is the right, the caring, the helpful thing to do right here, right now? It's a huge shift from following orders to taking ownership.
So you might be wondering, how can people who see the world so differently even talk to each other? Well, the sources for this explainer actually offer a path forward. They give us a little script of a conversation that's all about understanding, not about winning an argument.
The dialogue starts with someone just stating their position clearly and honestly. This is their foundation, their worldview. I believe things are right because God commands them.
Okay, now pay close attention to the response. It doesn't argue. It doesn't say, you're wrong. First, it validates the strength of the belief. That gives clarity. And then it asks a gentle question about its emotional function. It shifts the whole conversation from a debate about what's true out there to a conversation about human needs in here.
And boom, there's the answer. The real why behind the belief. It's not just about logic. It's about a deep human need for certainty and safety in a confusing world.
This is the brilliant move. The question gently finds the edge of the command-based system and looks for a shared value underneath it all. And of course, the answer is yes. By agreeing that they wouldn't want to cause harm, the person shows that they also rely on an internal compass, an instinct for care. And suddenly, there's common ground.
And we end on this really powerful thought. No matter which of these frameworks resonates more with you, maybe this is the ultimate test. Does your moral system make you feel bigger, more capable, and more courageous, or does it make you feel smaller and more afraid? That's a question really worth sitting with.